Well, good evening and welcome to another exciting episode of Love Not Fear. I'm Jack Cox, author of Love Not Fear, and I haven't got the book with me tonight because I'm away from home on another wonderful pet sitting gig.
Wiltshire, isn't it, Jack?
In Wiltshire, looking after
How exciting!
looking after three Siamese cats, one of which is pregnant, and well, no, not pregnant, suckling.
Oh, bless it.
Four tiny little kittens about this size.
Oh, how lovely.
And one blue. Andrew's got the book. There you go. Thank you, Andrew.
Oh,
Love Not Fear. You've got to get this one as well. If you're going to get love, you're going to get Love Not Fear as well. This is Jack's book.
We should sell them as a pair. Right.
Shall I show you mine?
My gorgeous co-host tonight is Annie Day, and she's written two scrumptious books.
Orgasmic Health and Your Guide to Feeling Fabulous Fast.
Right, so tonight we're going to be talking about grounding or earthing and a few other things if we get time.
Yeah.
So I've just made a very, very, very few notes. This isn't really my subject. I'm sure people here, Annie and Chrissy, know a lot more about it than I do.
Indeed.
And possibly others. So I'm not going to do too much waffling on tonight.
You don't waffle. You just disseminate information, Jack Cox.
I am going to start by reading this very, very brief introduction, which I have prepared. And if anything in this is wrong, I'm sure one of the others will quickly put me right.
There'll be no need for that. You'll be fine.
Grounding for Health was discovered by Clint Ober in 1998.
Yeah.
Ober is a retired pioneer of the American cable TV industry, which is where he learned all about grounding for electrical devices.
Yeah.
One day he was sitting on a park bench watching people walk by. Then he realized that every one of us wears synthetic rubber-soled shoes, and that these shoes are keeping us away from connecting with the earth. Grounding is often considered to be some fringe, wacky, woo-woo idea.
Instead of absolutely vital and essential.
However, it started to get official recognition. The US National Library of Medicine in America, an American government department, says this on their website.
Yeah.
And I quote, multidisciplinary research has revealed that electrically conductive contact of the human body with the surface of the earth, grounding or earthing, produces intriguing effects on physiology and health. Such effects relate to inflammation, immune response, wound healing, and prevention and treatment of chronic inflammatory and autoimmune diseases. Now, this is coming from the American government. The purpose of this report, their report, is twofold. One, to inform researchers about what appears to be a new perspective to the study of inflammation, and two, to alert researchers that the length of time and degree of grounding of experimental animals is an important but usually overlooked factor that can influence outcomes of studies of inflammation, wound healing, and tumorigenesis.
Indeedy.
Specifically, grounding an organism produces measurable differences in the concentrations of white blood cells,
yes,
cytokines, and other molecules involved in the inflammatory response. We present several hypotheses to explain observed effects based on the current research results and our understanding of the electronic aspects of cell and tissue physiology, cell biology, biophysics, and biochemistry.
Perfect.
Now, this is the American government saying this. Grounding reduces pain. So we can't say that this is a fake medical claim. This is coming from the American government.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take note, YouTube, because you've taken me down before for making so-called fake medical claims that came from a government website.
It's not fake. It's not fake.
Grounding reduces pain. Not may, not could. The American government is saying grounding reduces pain.
Yeah, of course it does.
And alters the numbers of circulating neutrophils and lymphocytes.
Indeed.
And also affects various circulating chemical factors and related to inflammation. And that came from the American government. So, So why do we use these two words, grounding and earthing? Well, we're going to use them synonymously
Yeah.
in this show tonight, and they both mean the same thing.
Yeah.
Historically, it's just a difference between the English language and the American language.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, we talk, when we have an earth cable, an earth plug in our electrical circuits in the house,
Yeah.
we call that earthing. The Americans call that the ground wire. We call it the earth wire. That's the only reason we got the two different words in circulation.
Yeah, yeah.
They both mean exactly the same thing. So we've already mentioned effects related to inflammation, immune response, wound healing, and prevention and treatment of chronic inflammatory and autoimmune diseases.
Absolutely.
Before, well, people have reported a feeling of greater peace within themselves, feeling calmer with reduced stress levels.
Yeah.
If there is chronic pain, then often this is reduced or disappears completely, and their day-night cortisol rhythm is normalized.
That's what it's most important for. That's why, well, this is my own viewpoint, that one of the first things I do, as well as putting protection on and saying thank you that I'm alive today, is to go outside straight away and walk on the grass in my beautiful little garden. And I'm sure that it does have an impact on high cortisol levels. All of us have high cortisol levels when we wake up in the morning. That's just part of our human condition, because it's a bit of a shock. We're back into reality again instead of being off in these magical, mystical places. But literally by doing it first thing in the morning can really benefit your outlook. And the thing is, if you feel like you're a tree and you've got your roots deep into the earth, which is what earthing and grounding does, then it doesn't matter how much we get knocked about, we will always have that very strong grounded earthing cord to Gaia, our mother, the earth. That's my viewpoint on it.
Absolutely, yeah. I think there's a two-pronged effect personally, because I'm heavily into this myself. There's the electrical effects, the dumping of free radicals, of surplus electrons, or surplus protons into the negative charged earth.
Yeah.
But I think there's another aspect to it as well. When we walk on the grass, the actual movement, we're stimulating the reflexology points in the soles of our feet.
Yeah, possibly.
And I think we're getting a great deal of benefit from that as well. So I think it's a two-pronged benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just that it's not, there's no way of walking so that, let's say, you can heal just your liver. or just your kidneys or whatever. So it does need to
Oh,
be
yeah.
your feet flat on the ground. But yeah, there must be a, you know, however minimal, a reflexology. Well, it's therapeutic, isn't it, for so many reasons?
Yeah. I mean, it may not be targeted to a particular organ,
Yeah.
but I still think there's a huge overall health effect by
Yeah, there's
stimulating
gotta be.
those points. Absolutely.
And you know, there's so much anecdotal evidence that people have said the days when they do not do earthing and grounding are the days when they really do not feel pain-free, and they do not feel relaxed, and they feel out of sorts, because literally they're not connected. So, you know, there's so much information on this.
I mean, I'm so fortunate to be in this gorgeous cottage here in where am I?
Wiltshire.
In Wiltshire.
Well remembered, Annie.
I do so many of these different gigs now. That,
I know.
lose track
I
of where I
remembered
am.
Wiltshire because of all the crop circles.
Yeah, so I've got a gorgeous place in Wiltshire. It's a lovely thatched cottage, and they've only got a small garden, but it gets loads and loads of sun all day.
Beautiful.
In the middle of nowhere, I can sit on a deck chair in the garden with my feet on the floor, watching the birds over the road through binoculars.
Grounding yourself beautifully.
I've got open land in front of me, open land behind me. So I'm really, really blessed.
Oh, absolutely.
And every now and again, I get up and have a little wander barefoot around the garden. It's only a small garden, so I can do have a little wander. And yeah, I'm absolutely so blessed.
Yeah.
The Earth is a massive reservoir of free electrons.
Indeedy.
Without a connection to this reservoir, the cells in our body are unable to balance the charge of electrodeficient free radicals. Our modern environment is full of a wide spectrum of electromagnetic radiation. Computers, mobile phones, mobile masks. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
Radio and TV broadcasts, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, power lines,
Microwaves,
domestic wiring, microwaves, and other electrical appliances. I mentioned before that I bought these sleep headphones that they cover my eyes at night or early in the morning if I wake up too early, and I can play music through the little built-in ear. And of course, it was Wi-Fi, wasn't it?
Mm.
And I thought, there's no way I'm going to put that on. There is no way I'm having that close to my body. So I took the Wi-Fi, disconnected it, took it out, put another pair of small speakers in.
Oh, clever you, Jack Cox.
Connected by a wire. It's plugged into the headphone socket. So now I get the benefit of that without having to have all the Bluetooth.
Yeah, indeed. I wear an eye mask because particularly this time of year, in the winter I'm fine. But if my eyes perceive one little tiny crack of light, I'm awake. I'm wide awake at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I know that part of that is being in tune with the circadian rhythms.
Yeah.
But some of it is that my eyes have perceived that there is sunlight and gone, come on, get up.
Get up, get going.
And I don't always want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, but this time of year, plus the birds start singing from about, which I love, the blackbird singing, let me just say that.
Yeah.
They start at about 4:10 every morning. So I kind of go, yeah, okay, later. But then I see that tiny little bit of sunlight and I'm awake. So I wear, sometimes remember to wear an eye mask.
Yeah. It all depends what time you go to bed, doesn't it? What time you can get up. And we do there are lots of temptations to stay up late in our modern society.
Well, because we've got electricity. I suppose years ago, we could have only stayed up as long as it was daylight. And Chrissy's got the same one as me. We'd have only been able to do things by candlelight, which cuts down your options quite a bit, I guess. So.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas now we can have, if you wanted, you could have electricity 24/7, couldn't you?
Yeah. So all this electromagnetic radiation induces voltages in our bodies, disrupting the trillions of subtle electrical communications, which are a vital part of the functioning of our body systems. By being grounded to the earth, being in electrical contact with the earth, we greatly reduce the levels of these induced voltages, as we are then effectively shielded by the Earth's negatively charged mass. We just need to say a little bit here. I want to just say quickly, when we talk about negative charge, we're not talking about anything bad. We're talking in an electrical sense, yeah?
Yeah.
So
we're talking about positive ions or negative ions. We're not really talking about negative, let's say, emotional energy, are we?
That's right.
What we're talking about.
We must make that clear for those who don't know a lot about electricity. Electrons are negatively charged, protons are positively charged.
Yeah.
Right, well, I'm going to stop waffling on now.
You weren't waffling, you were beautifully disseminating information, Jack Cox.
And let other people share their wisdom.
Okay. Do you want me to start?
Go on.
And please do interject whenever you fancy. So walking barefoot, have you ever been outside in a warm summer day and felt the urge to run barefoot on the grass? I'm sure everybody has.
Always.
Always. It's just so tempting, isn't it? Lying on the ground, you can increase your skin to earth contact by lying on the ground. You can submerge yourself in water. You can use grounding equipment. So people typically perform grounding outdoors by lying on the ground or submerging themselves in water. You can also buy grounding mats, sheets, or other equipment. I've got some socks that are grounded called Vox socks that literally, oh, there you go. And you've got your
show us the bottom of that. There you go. You can see the electrical strip along the bottom.
Yeah.
That makes the contact. Yeah.
So grounding is also called earthing, as the lovely Jack's already said. It is a therapeutic technique that involves doing activities that ground or electrically reconnect you to the earth. This practice relies on earthing science and grounding physics to explain how electric charges from the earth can have positive effects on your body. This type of grounding therapy isn't entirely the same as the technique that is used in mental health treatments, which we'll leave that for another day.
Yeah. Wonderful techniques such as naked gardening.
Oh, damn right. What I didn't say was when I go out barefoot in the garden, as you know, my garden has like, I don't know, 10-foot fences, doesn't it? So I can go out sky clad in the morning and let my body and let my feet get as much of that beautiful earth energy, basically. So yes, very good, Jack.
I mean, gardening is wonderful because you're in contact with the earth straight away.
Absolutely.
You know, through the spade or through the rake, through the handle. Yeah. Provided you've got a natural handle and not a synthetic material.
Yeah, as long as you've got a wooden handle, it's fine, isn't it?
And you break I tend to break the clods up with my hands anyway.
Yeah. Makes it more tactile.
I just love it, you know. I just love being immersed in it all.
Absolutely, Jack. So electrical conductivity exists within the matrix that functions as an immune system defense similar to antioxidants. They believe that through grounding, the natural defenses of the body can be restored. Further research expands on this idea. So in a small study on grounding and heart health, which was from 2008, 10 healthy participants were grounded using patches on the palms of their hands and the soles of their feet. Blood measurements were taken before and after the grounding to determine any changes in red blood cell fluidity, which plays a role in heart health. The results indicated significantly less red blood cell clumping after grounding, which suggests benefits for cardiovascular health.
I've seen a video on YouTube that actually shows the before and after effects.
Yeah.
Under a
Me too.
microscope.
You can really see it, can't you?
You can really see the difference in the way it flows.
Oh, absolutely, Jack. Another slightly larger study examined the role of grounding on post-exercise muscular damage. Researchers used both grounding patches, mats, and measured creatine kinase, white blood cell count, and pain levels before and after grounding. And guess what happened? Guess what happened?
Oh, I can't possibly imagine.
I can't
You
imagine what
you
how
must-
brilliant.
You must tell, Andy, you must tell.
So the blood work indicated that grounding reduced muscular damage and pain in all participants. This suggests that grounding may influence healing abilities. This research is supported by a recent study on grounding for pain reduction and also mood improvement. 16 massage therapists alternated between periods of grounding and no grounding. Before grounding therapy, physical and emotional stress and pain were common side effects of their physically demanding jobs. After the earthing therapy, pain, stress, depression, and fatigue were all significantly reduced among all participants. All the participants.
All, yeah.
All the participants. Most of the studies on grounding are small and rely somewhat on subjective measurements, such as self-reported feelings, mood, or even self-administered treatment. I don't have a problem with subjective and anecdotal information, because sometimes that's all you've got, that the patient or the student says, you did this, I felt like this. And I don't think there's anything, you know, bad about that or anything unscientific about that, because sometimes that is the only way you can ascertain that it has a positive effect, isn't it?
Totally agree, Annie. Totally agree.
Walking barefoot, one of our favourite things, Jack Cox. That's what prompted me to suggest this tonight. One of the easiest ways to ground yourself to the earth is to walk barefoot wherever you can. Now, the only thing I'm going to say that's cautionary about this is be careful if you're doing it in a park, because, you know, I see them in the lovely little park opposite me with their sprays, which have Roundup in. I'm absolutely certain, because you can smell the chemical maelstrom of it. So, you know, be careful if you're going to walk on places like parks, you know, that you're actually not going to be putting that inside your body, basically.
And if you live in Stafford, go and visit Annie's garden.
Yeah, come to my garden anytime you like, even if I'm not there. It's the gate's easily opened, isn't it?
It's beautiful, beautiful little garden.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.
Wonderful.
I do love my garden.
Wonderful vibes.
It is, isn't it? Absolutely. I've got another addition that I'll have to show you as well. I've now got a solar-powered fairy fountain, and at night it's got solar-powered lights on as well. That my friend
That's wonderful.
bought me.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, the second most important thing after grounding is water.
Yeah. Oh, without doubt. Without doubt. So you can
Moving
have both
water,
here.
running water.
You can have both here.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So whether you're walking barefoot on grass, sand, or even mud, allowing your skin to touch the natural ground can provide you with a huge amount of grounding energy. Lie on the ground. That's what we were doing, wasn't it? We were just lying on the grass, just taking in all that lovely, lovely skin
Right.
to earth contact by lying on the ground. You can do it in the grass by the park or on the sand on the beach. You can, if you're going to ground yourself in this way, be sure to take the proper precautions and never lie somewhere where you could be injured. Like I say, you know, where you know that they spray Roundup. Submersing yourself in water. So for all of us people who love water, according to advocates for grounding, water may be used to ground in the same way the physical earth is used for grounding.
As long as it's a natural water source.
Yes, they
Not
suggest
all.
simply wading into a clear lake or swimming in the ocean as a way to ground yourself. And, you know, that is what I would recommend for all of us. The salt is superb as well. As always, be sure to stay safe when swimming, especially in murky or deep waters. So using grounding equipment. When going outside to ground yourself, if this isn't an option, there are other alternatives. One method of earthing involves connecting a metal rod to the ground outside and then connecting the rod to your body through a wire. I don't know that I really fancy that, but hey ho. If you're not comfortable using a metal rod to ground yourself, there's other grounding equipment available. This equipment is an effective way to incorporate earthing therapy into your daily life and includes grounding mats, grounding sheets or blankets, grounding socks, grounding bands and patches. So I haven't got my lovely Vox socks on today, but they are very good for grounding.
If I can just say, sorry if you were going to mention this later, about the grounding mats. You connect them to the earth, to the ground spike.
Yeah.
Through the electrical socket in your house.
Yeah.
Now, only the earth, only the earth terminal is connected.
Yeah.
The other two, the live and the neutral terminals are blank.
I'm not part of it. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're getting no electricity from your socket.
Oh, not whatsoever. At all. There's no EMFs coming through to you at all. Is that it is just to help you to ground yourself.
It's just to connect you to the earth through the house's electrical circuitry.
Yeah, absolutely, darling. So although there isn't a lot of research on the benefits of grounding, many people have reported improvement for conditions such as chronic fatigue. In this study on massage therapists, many reported a decrease in their fatigue levels after only 4 weeks of a treatment with grounding themselves. I mean, that's massive, isn't it? Only 4 weeks of doing that daily routine.
Yeah.
Chronic pain, the study on grounding for exercise recovery found that those who use grounding patches reported lower pain levels. Anxiety and depression in one small study was shown that even 1 hour of grounding therapy could significantly improve mood in mental health patients.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so good for so many things.
Improves my mood.
Hey?
Improves my mood.
Oh, all I have to do is just stand there, and I usually do affirmations while I'm stood there as well, and light language and all sorts of lovely mad stuff. But no, it really does sort me out, just being very grounded. So, I've already said that. Sleep disorders, another study where they use massage therapists also experienced an improvement in sleep length and reduced sleep disturbances with grounding therapy. Cardiovascular disease, results of one treatment study found that long-term self-administered grounding therapy helped to reduce blood pressure levels in participants with hypertension, which we would know as high blood pressure.
Yeah.
So the bottom line, grounding or earthing is a therapeutic technique that focuses on realigning your electrical energy by reconnecting to the earth. There's some research behind grounding and smaller studies have reported benefits for inflammation, pain, mood, and much more. Grounding can be performed inside or out, with or without grounding equipment. No matter how you choose to perform grounding, make sure that you're always aware of your surroundings outside and use only earthing equipment safely to reduce the risks. So, as well as doing earthing and grounding, another thing that I feel is very important for us, particularly after the last 3 years, is boundaries.
Before we move on to that, Annie, can we just let Chrissy come on for a bit?
Yes,
Because
sure.
I know Chrissy is really into this, and you've
Yes,
got
sure.
you've got a Facebook group, haven't you, with the grounders? Do you want to say something about that?
But yeah, it's a group for beginners, because I was a beginner and I thought if we can get some beginners, we can all swap notes like and see what happens. Can I promote my new book?
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, I haven't finished it yet. Oh, I've got to give a chance to finish it.
Intent is all.
Eh?
Absolutely.
Intent is all.
Right. What I was going to say was, it doesn't have to be. Some people think it's got to be the feet only, but it can be any part of your skin.
Yeah.
And another warning is if you're on blood thinners, you need to drop your medication down because it thins the blood, is what I was finding out. Or any other medication that you're on, you probably have to lower it down.
Yeah.
We just say for legal reasons that please consult your doctor before
Absolutely.
discontinuing any medications. Okay, sorry about it.
I was going to say that, yeah. With me, I'm so busy, I'm so excited about it. I'm so busy telling everybody all about it. I'm sort of not remembering to do it when I should be remembering to do it. So I need to. I'm so excited because this is fantastic, and I know it's helped a lot of people.
Yeah, sure.
What does that say? Yeah, right, and inflammation is a big thing with it, that it helps inflammation, but what a lot of people don't know is that you can have inflammation of the brain, which is depression, which is what you mentioned about the helping depression, because that's inflammation of the brain.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just helps absolutely everything. But what I find a lot of people, I tell people about it and they're putting negativity in the way, like almost as if they don't want to get better, they can't cope with getting better, you know.
Well, secondary gain, darling, when patients don't really want to get better because they get lots of attention, they get lots of sympathy.
Yeah.
So some of the reason why people don't want to get better is they're getting secondary gain, they're getting their needs met. From not being well, which is not really what we're about, strangely enough.
No, there's always a payoff, isn't there? There's always a payoff.
Yep.
Ask yourself, what's the payoff? You're feeling ill, ask yourself, what's the payoff? Is it because you're getting sympathy? Is it because you're getting some state welfare benefit? You know, what's the payoff for being ill? And when you start to really look at that, the illness sometimes just fades away.
Yeah. Absolutely, darling.
You have to go on to the next person, so the next person probably be really interested, you know. So you just know when to give up, because you can tell pretty much straight away. Oh, if I put my feet in soil, the worms might get on my feet, like. But,
nobody's ever died from a worm crawling over their feet, strangely.
You never know. You never know.
Well, I know some of Chrissy's neighbours are like that. You may think it's a joke, but I know some of Chrissy's neighbours are like that, aren't they? Some of your neighbours are like that, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you just keep carrying on, spreading the good word.
It's all we can do, isn't it?
But because it's free, they can't cope with that, so I've started charging now. Not really.
Good.
Not really, but you know, because it's free, how can something free be so good for you? you know.
Mm.
They don't want to put the foot in the soil, but they'll drink a concoction of drugs and give no thought to it.
Oh, absolutely.
Come on, get real.
Sometimes, Chrissy, we have to say, your circus, your monkeys.
That's
Once
it.
you've
Yeah,
given that information,
yeah,
it is useless you to keep saying it and saying it and saying it and saying it, because they're going, la, 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 I can hear you. So sometimes you just have to go, okay, I've told you
Yeah.
twice now, your circus, your monkeys, you deal with it.
yeah, yeah.
But it's not what we want to do, because we're big-hearted goddesses and we want to help people, don't we?
Yeah.
So anything else, Chrissy?
I can't think of anything at the moment because you've said a lot, so I've crossed it off my list.
Okay, wonderful. But yeah, have a look at Chrissy's grounding and earthing group on Facebook, isn't it?
For
So
beginners.
how do people connect with your group, Chrissy?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, send me the link after the show,
Will
and I'll
do.
put it in the show notes.
Okay, I'll do that straight
Okay.
away. Yeah.
Perfect. So boundaries kind of linked to earthing and grounding, in that this is a psychological, mental, emotional boundary as well as a physical boundary. It can help you to assert what you're okay and not okay with. Personal boundaries in relationships are necessary because you may feel resentful and exhausted without them. So either we tend to do too much and then don't feel that the other person, that the other person thanked us or the other person did whatever, or we were taken advantage of by not saying no when we needed to say no. And, I'm talking about me as well. I'm talking about me. I have been guilty of this in the past. So many have found that by setting boundaries improves your mental health and your mood. Without limits, it's hard to be self-aware and independent, and that's what we all want. Boundaries are an essential element of healthy relationships because they help to keep a balance between you and your partner, or you and your friend, or you and your work colleague. It doesn't have to be within a loving relationship. They also help reduce conflict because they set an example of what you both expect from each other. Having boundaries can bring you closer to other people because they keep open communication. If you don't set healthy boundaries, you are likely to constantly be at the mercy of others. You allow others to tell you how to think, act, and feel. I don't think anybody watching this program comes into that category.
No.
But there are people who do.
Mm.
It also means you tend to spend your time and energy doing what others want you to do over what you deep down want to do. And Jack and I have talked about this in a previous program, haven't we? That some people are people pleasers, and they've said we are, and that isn't what we do. We're not people pleasers. Oh, your cat's coming back in.
I've got that.
Oh, one of your cats has just come back in.
I've got another one just here. I think it's going to make an appearance. No.
So 12 signs that you're lacking boundaries. So your relationships tend to be difficult. The less you set healthy boundaries, the more you give others the signal that you don't know how to take care of yourself. This leaves you open to attracting people who want to control you. I think we've all had a little bit of that in the past. Or you may lack such a sense of power from never standing up for yourself that you resort to unconscious manipulation of yourself. This means you are constantly in codependent relationships and friendships that lack an equal exchange of give and take. Oh, what a beauty. So number 2, you find decisions make a real challenge for you. You can end up spending so much of your life doing what others want you to do that you lose your sense of self. This means you often don't know what you do or don't want. Faced with a decision, you just look blank. And again, I don't think that is what we do, but some people do. So it's just something to be aware of. Number 3, you really, really hate to let other people down, which again is very laudable. People without personal limits tend to go along with other people's plans. They worry so much about letting other people down that they just say yes. Perhaps you've been called a people pleaser. Well, Jack and I were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, weren't we?
Yeah,
And
a couple of
actually,
weeks
we
ago.
don't
Yeah.
believe that we are people pleasers, because we do know when we need to back off and just let the person make their own decisions. And it's an act of love and empowerment what we do, isn't it? That's what we decided, wasn't it?
I will always help people if what they're trying to achieve is
Yeah.
in alignment with what I'm trying to achieve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I won't help people do things that are against my values.
Exactly. That's the difference, isn't it? There is a line that we won't allow people to step over, basically, that isn't congruent with the way that we are, basically, in our core energy. So number 4, 2 words, guilt and anxiety. If you ever say yes, you suffer from ongoing guilt and fear. Many people with boundary issues feel guilty for the smallest things like that they've done, like taking the last piece of cake or asking someone to move along a bench so you can sit down. I don't think any of us are really that troubled by it, are we? We're just really not. And I'm always happy. I live alone, so I'm always happy to have the last piece of cake. I don't mind sharing if you're with me, Jack, but you know, most of the time I think about my lovely tummy and go, yeah.
Well, when I get back, I'm going to come round and share your last piece of cake.
Okay, spot on, Jack. That would be lovely.
And you, Chrissy, and you. I haven't forgotten you.
Number 5, you are often tired for no apparent reason. Always doing what others want means you are left to cram your own life in only the time which is left over, which is exhausting. But never identifying and pursuing your own dreams in life can also cause a sense of fatigue, as it can cause mild depression. Number 6, your radar is off when it comes to sharing. You tend to overshare private details of your life with people you've just met, leaving you open to hurt and manipulation. And when someone wants to be close to you, you panic because you don't know how to share your needs and wants, and might suffer intimacy issues.
Well, that's due to trauma, isn't it?
Yeah, massively.
People who've been traumatized.
Yeah.
We talked about this. We talked about this last week, didn't we? I think it was last week.
Yeah.
Or the week before. That we all want to reach out, but at the same time, we all want to be protected and defended. And it's just a dichotomy in most of our lives.
Yeah. Absolute certainty.
Most of us, those of us who have been traumatized, and most of us have been traumatized when they get to our age. We've been traumatized, haven't we?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just we're being pulled in two all the time.
Yeah.
It's this thing that I say. It's probably glib, but it's not something I say. There's what we want and there's what we want to want. They're not always the same thing.
Absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on, Jack, for sure. You are constantly the victim of situations. Again, this doesn't apply to us, but it's worth noting in other people. This can mean you tend to feel hard done by because others have taken advantage of you in both obvious and subtle ways. Perhaps you feel overlooked or blamed at work, in your family, or in your social circles. You might even be the sort of person that things always seem to go wrong for. And we've talked about the potency of affirmations, haven't we, to stop that from doing that downward spiral. Number 8, you're a tiny bit annoyed most of the time. Of course you are. On a certain level, you are feeling taken advantage of. Number 9, you secretly feel that others do not show you respect. If you don't set boundaries, people won't know how to act around you, and you will be left feeling disrespected. The other side of this coin is that without your own boundaries, you are less likely to recognize the boundaries of others and might unwittingly be disrespectful to them. Number 10.
Once, yeah.
Hey?
Done that once or twice.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've all done it to, you know, a tiny degree, but we're not overly doing this basically. So,
I mean, the thing about having boundaries is it's your responsibility to communicate to other people where your boundaries lie.
Yeah. And
Don't
what you will and not put up with.
Don't expect other people to intuitively know where your boundaries are. Certainly if your boundaries are...
Because they're invisible.
are not very, well, if your boundaries unusually tight, let's just put it that way. Don't expect other people to...
Good way of expressing it.
You need to tell them. I got into so much trouble with a friend a couple of years ago, crossing a boundary I had no idea even existed.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've all done it just because that other person didn't say, I don't like it when you do blah, 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 blah. So you might, number 10, you might become passive aggressive. First, you let others take the advantage, then you try to manipulate back the energy and power you lost by nagging the other person, complaining, or punishing them in some way. A bad case of passive aggression. You may also blame others all the time, which is a way of not facing up to the fact that really you didn't set a boundary and you are the one who is responsible for your life. And again, we have talked about that, haven't we, in the past, Jack?
Yeah, we have, yeah.
Number 11, your secret fear is of being rejected or abandoned. And again, childhood traumas are part of this. That, you know, we've had experiences where we've been neglected, where we've been abused in some way. And, you know, there are lots of people in the world who've been neglected physically, emotionally, and sexually abused. And that lack of being able to trust a parent has far-reaching consequences, basically.
Massive far-reaching
because it's already set that pattern that that's what people are expecting.
It affects your whole life,
doesn't it? And then it's unpicking all of that loss of innocence in your childhood and that loss of having boundaries because somebody trampled all over your boundaries to do whatever it was that they did. So quite often, you know, when people arrive and they need to release a trauma or PTSD, it will, I would say, 90% of the time stem from their childhood.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know what was, you know, we didn't know what was happening, and we've continued thinking that we did something wrong to deserve that, which is not the case at all.
No.
Lacking healthy boundaries, as I've just been saying, goes back to our childhood. It often means you didn't have a caregiver who provided unconditional love and acceptance. You had to do what others wanted to avoid being rejected, abandoned, or punished. And now as an adult, there are these two things you fear most. Why do I lack the ability to set boundaries? As I've just said, it comes from a childhood trauma. And sometimes it is learned behaviour. You witnessed a parent gain their sense of self through pleasing, and learn that is what love is. But it's not really, but it's what we've, you know, what we've observed, what we've been living with. And also we've been conditioned by that to gain love from that other friend, family, whoever it is, that's what we need to do. And it's a really bad pattern to get into, isn't it? But I understand how subtle it is in changing our behavior. Boundaries are not something that makes you unhappy. If you set boundaries, you then attract people who are willing to respect you and want good things for you. Yay! Number 2, they are not to limit your joy, but only to protect your joy.
Yay!
Yay! We like that, don't we? Your
We like
relationships
joy.
get better and you actually enjoy the things you choose to do because they match your true beliefs and values. I just think that's lovely. Number 3, boundaries are not set in stone. As you learn more of who you are and experience personal lessons in your life, you will change. So too will your boundaries. You never have to feel bad about changing your mind, about changing a boundary, because at the end of the day, it is your life. You decide what does and doesn't work, and you have the right to evolve those decisions to empower you.
Absolutely. Boundaries have to be flexible. They have to evolve.
Exactly.
If you're going to evolve as a human being. You can't just have the same boundaries year after year after year after year, because it means you're not growing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So where did I get to? They are not about being right or wrong. Boundaries aren't about being right or wrong. Your personal healthy boundaries are based on your own value system and perspective and might be totally different than someone else's. And that's okay. That is okay.
Yeah.
This doesn't make you right and them wrong. It means you are just different people.
Yeah.
So to set up healthy boundaries, what do I do? The first step can be learning more about yourself and giving yourself the time and space to do so. In other words, watch how often you are doing self-judgment. Sometimes I hear people saying the most horrid things to themselves and going, I'm a real idiot, I do this, I do that. And I've gone, no, stop. We don't deserve that. It's like beating yourself with a baseball bat. There is nothing good that's going to come out of that, is there?
Judge not, lest ye be judged. And that includes...
Absolutely. And you include yourself. Every so often, I've talked quite a bit about my father because he was such a wise and continues to be a wise man. And every so often I'll be doing something, you go, hey, love, which bit of that is putting your own oxygen mask on first? Or he'll go, hey, put the bloody baseball bat down. Baseball bat? Which baseball bat will that be? But yeah, it's good to be reminded to put your own oxygen mask on. It's what we're told on every airline journey, isn't it? Put your own oxygen mask on and then go around giving everybody else's theirs. Sometimes we do that, don't we?
We've got to do that in life, because if we don't look after ourselves, we're not capable of looking after anybody else.
Yeah, exactly that, Jack, isn't it? You could start by journaling and reading self-help books about core beliefs, values, and your identity. Mindfulness is also a good tool, helping you to become more aware of how you actually feel in the present moment. Be wary of turning to others and asking them what boundaries you should have. You need to be very clear about what your boundaries are.
Absolutely, yeah.
Assertiveness can help you express yourself effectively and stand up for your own point of view. It can also help you do this while respecting the rights and the beliefs of others. Being assertive can help boost your self-esteem and earn others' respect. This can also help with anxiety and stress management. So the benefits of being assertive, this is one I've had to learn. over a number of years, but particularly the last 7 years. Assertive communication is the key to better business. Promoting self-confidence and self-esteem through assertiveness. Increased effectiveness. Being assertive reduces stress and improves communication. Resolves conflict. Being proactive. Assertive communication is the key to better business and better relationship.
It's all down to self-image, isn't it, really? If you've got a high self-image,
It is, absolutely.
to come across as being assertive.
Yeah.
If you have low self-image, then you don't feel able to assert yourself.
Yeah, exactly that, Jack, isn't it? Exactly that. You know, again, it's that extension of those boundaries that we've been talking about, isn't it?
I mean, we know we're absolutely awesome, so.
Of course, there's no question about that, Jack.
And we're so modest with it.
Oh, absolutely. I think that my childhood experiences did not help me to talk about what I'm really good at.
No.
It would be my report would come in and why did you only get a B when I got 10 A's? It wouldn't be, oh, you did really fantastic getting all those A's. And I'm sure that some of that is sort of has in the past, let's say it in the past, has been running in the background sometimes. So me being assertive and going, no, I am really good at this is, you know, it's overcoming that kind of false humility, isn't it, Jack?
It is. I mean, I've been struggling with this most of my life. It's only in quite recent years that I've managed to overcome it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So assertiveness is a core life skill and key business tool. When we feel that we are unable to assert ourselves and provide healthy boundaries, it can affect our mental health, and when we can then begin to feel anger, a sense of helplessness, that others are taking advantage, that it's our fault, that we need to lash out inappropriately, or we feel a sense of failure. So in some situations, it is easier to be assertive than in others. It is, for instance, easiest to stand up for yourself with someone you don't know and may never meet again. So let's say, I don't know, a traffic warden or a policeman, or I don't know. I'm making this up as I go along now, obviously.
I thought you were telling us about your day.
Oh, no, I've not had any skirmishes with the police or traffic wardens or anybody, really.
All day.
All day, indeed, all day. I haven't. Whereas, so although it may be easier to be assertive and boundaried with someone that we don't have a relationship with, you know, that's we've met in the supermarket or whatever, it's sometimes more difficult because it's more complex in relationships with a friend, a lover, a loved one, a work colleague who you see every day. Being assertive can prove difficult sometimes because they've got used to you not being assertive and not being boundaried.
I think that's why it has to come. You've got to start by changing your self-image. You can't start
exactly
by
that, Jack.
You can't start by working on assertiveness.
Yeah.
You've got to start with self-image, and then the assertiveness follows. Otherwise, you just come across as being bullshit.
Yeah.
And rude.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, darling.
If it's forced, it comes across as rude.
Yeah.
If it's
but
natural,
when it's genuine, it's just
genuine,
someone sharing their truth, isn't it? That's the difference, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So assertive behaviour and boundary behaviour has some major benefits. It leads to a true sense of self-worth, which in turn will result in increased mutual respect from others. Because basically, we're literally teaching other people how to treat us by how we treat ourselves, aren't we? Promoting self-confidence and self-esteem through assertiveness. One of the biggest benefits of using assertive communication skills is the ability to build confidence, reduce stress in a wide range of different situations. The best way is to include interruptions in the discussion. By modifying your beliefs and the group's belief, you enable changes of behaviour to become possible. As you develop a more assertive use of words and body language, you will feel more confident about being able to say no. Standing up to your right, no,
No.
no, and expressing your own feelings. For example, assertiveness can help you stand firm against a more aggressive person who is trying to intimidate you into being quiet. Well, good luck with that.
Good luck with that, eh? Yeah. None of us are very good at that, are we?
That's not going to work anymore. That all stopped 7 years ago. As your feelings change, your body language will change and you'll begin to seem more confident to others. This will encourage them to give more weight to your ideas and thoughts as you appear assured of the outcome. Increased effectiveness. A lack of assertiveness can cause fruitless discussions in which nothing is ever agreed upon. Often people are too concerned about treading on the toes of others to speak their truth, which is not what we do on this show. We do the opposite.
You can't tiptoe around people.
No,
Just doesn't
not
work.
good for us or for them.
If they need to be tiptoed around, then they don't belong in your life.
No, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Off you go. We can feel like we're walking on eggshells. We can't decide if this is the right time to bring up a concern. Is now the moment to say what we really think? Yes, it is.
Yeah, if it's bothering you, then say it.
Yeah, don't bottle up your feelings and stay silent and keep a low profile and wait until things have settled down or wait until the time is right. There will never be a better time than this moment in time for you to say it.
Never, ever, ever bottle anything up. What was
Exactly.
it, Susan Jeff? What was that book by Susan Jeffers?
Feel the fear and do it anyway.
It wasn't Susan Jeffers then. What was the other one? Who wrote?
You Can Heal Your Life.
Who that was Lewis Hay. Who wrote? Oh, it's gone out of my head now. Who wrote Feelings Buried Alive Never Die?
I've never heard of that, Jack. I have no idea, really, truly.
Absolutely brilliant, brilliant.
We'll
book.
need to look that up then.
I'll put a link to it in the show notes.
Oh, perfect, Jack Cox. That'd be some more reading for me.
Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. So don't bottle anything up.
Not good for us. It's really not good for us.
And it's going to come out sooner or later, and it's not going to come out in a very nice way.
Absolutely, absolutely.
If you express it when you first feel it, then you can bring it out in a controlled way.
And it becomes our problem, our issue to look at, rather than some sort of a battle going on, isn't it, as well? So
of course, that links in with another cliche that's going around at the moment on Facebook memes. We train people how to treat us by what we permit.
It's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
True. Absolutely, certainly true, Jack. So assertiveness benefits everyone as they can express exactly what they believe is the right course of action. From there, the group can arrive at a consensus and then helpful decisions can be agreed upon. Working with assertiveness also improves communication, goal setting, and decreases the risk of teams wasting their efforts on activities that some members of the group know will be unsuccessful.
Karol Truman. Andrew's just put it on in the note.
Oh, well done, Andrew.
Karol Truman.
Karol Truman. Okay.
Karol Truman.
So being assertive reduces stress, improves communication, And assertive communication skills improve productivity because contributors can give honest and objective feedback without worrying about upsetting others. This includes feeling comfortable about being given praise as much as providing criticism. Because often that is what people struggle with. They go, oh no, it's nothing. I was just doing my job. So one of the lovely things that Victor Wrong taught me many years ago was when somebody gives you a compliment, say thank you. Don't say, oh, I was only doing my job. I was only doing blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm making an excuse for why you did something lovely for them. Because he said, energetically, they've just given you this big red parcel wrapped up with a big gold bow, and they've gone, here you go, Annie. This is my gift to you. And you've gone, no, I'm not interested. By negating the beautiful compliment that they've just given you, or the thank you they've given you, by saying those words, you've just destroyed that gift. So it's worth catching yourself doing it and just go, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Annie.
Thank you, Jack Cox.
Thank you, Chrissy.
Assertiveness can even help you to stress test your own opinions, which is the added benefit of ensuring anything you say is rapeseed pollen. So assertiveness can even help you to stress test your own opinions, which is the added benefit of ensuring anything you say is constructive and delivered in a positive manner. Where do I put them? It's going to have one of my lovely cough sweets. This is a reminder I haven't taken my local honey today, which helps me to cope with
Hay fever.
genetically modified rapeseed pollen, which, as you know, Jack's all around Stafford, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all over the place. It's all over Wiltshire too.
Oh, it's horrible.
Gets
I love
everywhere.
going to Wales because they grow sheep, not bloody genetically modified rapeseed oil. And there's no need for us to be doing it now because it was a EU directive that paid farmers a lot more for rapeseed, for growing rapeseed. Well, we're not in the EU now, so what are we doing it for?
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Absolutely. We can do a whole show about that one day.
Okay, darling. So resolving conflict. There are 3 standard approaches. We can be passive, don't express your opinions, don't tend to disagree, avoid confrontation, try to please everybody. Not going to work.
Can I just say, Annie, we've gone well over time.
Okay, well, I've got probably 5 minutes left.
Okay.
Carry on.
Yeah.
So passive, avoiding, no opinions, scared. We can be aggressive, ignores others' opinions, impose your ideas, intimidate and blame, get angry, aggressive and loud. Or we can be assertive, explore opinions, disagree respectfully, be inclusive, look for solutions, be assertive, respectful, inclusive, and a solution finder.
Yeah.
The assertive ability to disagree and express opinions while respecting other people's points of view is good for the self-esteem of everyone involved. Using assertiveness techniques correctly will also keep you positive and cooperative, which are essential traits for resolving conflict. So here are some helpful books. The Benefit of Being Assertive by the Impact Factory Run. And one of the ones that I've read in the past that I can't find at the moment, so I'm suspected I've lent it out again, is Assertiveness for Earth Angels by Doreen Virtue.
And why would you read a book like that, Annie?
can't imagine. It's strange, really, isn't it? Yeah, I felt I needed it. Do you remember Cygnus Book Club?
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, I used to be a member of that. Yeah.
I used to limit myself to only buying 3 esoteric books per month, and it was on special offer, and I saw it, and it was literally yelling at me. So yeah, I thoroughly recommend Assertiveness for Earth Angels by Doreen Virtue.
Okay.
Because I think all of us are Earth Angels.
I shall put all these links in the show notes.
Thank you very much, Lee. Thank you to Chrissy. Thank you to lovely Jack. Thank you to Kenny. Thank you to Andrew.
Yeah, before we wind up, I need to just say we haven't heard much from you tonight, Andrew. Do you want to contribute anything?
Book.
Oh well, yeah.
All you need is love. La 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 la. All you need is love.
And
Love
you know,
is all you need.
my little journey is I've got a page that this beautiful painting, if you can see it, yeah, the beautiful painting has been at the top of the page called Love Revolution, which has been on Facebook since 2012. And I put my philosophy in there that the first thing that you've got to do in this life is you've got to love yourself.
Yeah.
The love revolution begins right at home with you.
Yeah.
You need to love you first, because if you don't know how to love you properly, you can't love anybody else.
No,
So then you've got to love
absolutely.
your partner, you've got to love your family, you've got to love the people that you work with. It expands out. We were talking about the expansion of like circles of influence. You've got to then love your locality and do what you can for the environment there. You've got to love your city, your county, your country, your continent, your planet, your solar system. And I kept going out like that. But it starts by loving you. And if you can't assert yourself, then that's really a big problem for you, because if you haven't got respect for yourself, how dare you ask anybody else to respect you?
Yeah.
So in my book that I've been told to promote just now, there is poems about self-love. There's poems about loving the world, loving your partner, loving nature. There's poems about all of it. But thank you again for tonight and the rich information here. It's always amazing. It's like mind-blowing, really, that everything that just comes out. It just, if you want a subject matter and you go to Jack Cox's YouTube, they're all there. Well, I keep thinking they're all there, and then he brings another subject matter out, or Annie does. But there's such rich information to be had, and it can be a bit dry when you're being told. But you've got to be in. I try to get myself into a mindset where I'm going to school now. I'm going to learn so much, and I have in this past year and a bit now. I've learned so much being here. So you know, I'm here to sing your praises, both Jack and Annie. And maybe I'm a stuck record, but I don't care. I'm going to keep playing that.
We really appreciate you, Andrew, too.
No, Andrew, we really appreciate it, honestly, really do.
But for what Andrew was just saying, if you tie that into what we were saying a couple of weeks ago about the illusion of separation, your self-love, it starts on the individual level, and then you're loving yourself, because it's all you, on the local level and on the planetary level and on the cosmic level. You're loving yourself on all those levels because it's all you.
Yeah.
There is no separation.
Yeah.
There are no others.
No.
Just other aspects of us.
Exactly that, isn't it? Yeah, exactly that, Jack.
Right. Well, thank you very much for that wisdom, Andrew. Anything you want to say, Kenneth?
No, just thank you very much to all of you.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Karol. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for coming. And thank you, Chrissy, for your contribution tonight. That was very much
Yeah,
appreciated.
that was good.
Don't forget to send me the link to that group, and I'll put it in the show notes. And thank you to my gorgeous co-host, Annie Day.
And to my gorgeous co-host, Jack Cox.
Without which this show would not be possible.
And
Yeah,
I
if you
am
want-
massively grateful for you doing all the funky editing and everything else that you do to get it live on YouTube as well, Jack. I really am grateful.
Well, this show has gone so smoothly, it won't need any editing. So I thank you all for that.
Perfect. Yay!
If you're watching this on Zoom, you're watching it on Zoom now. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll get it right in a minute. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do like, share, and subscribe. It helps us get our
Yes,
message.
please do subscribe.
Helps us get our love and our message of love and unity out to the world. And we'll see you all again next week, hopefully.
Okay.
Namaste.
Namaste.